All right, ladies and gentlemen, believers, hivelings, and everybody in between. If you are seeing this, this is a very special day. I am the outlier, Isaac, and with me today is somebody I have been watching for a long time. They easily have one of the most unique move sets in professional wrestling to this very day. They have, on top of that, they've had some of the best matches. In fact, two of those matches I watched earlier today, which we will talk about later in the stream. And so today, ladies and gentlemen, believers, hivelings, everybody in between, I would like to introduce to you Kid Bandit. How are you doing today?
Good, good. This is actually the first
How are you?
interview I'm doing with my hair wet. Usually I haven't done it, but I just dyed it and bleached it, so it's still wet. So I apologize, but hey, unique look, new
No,
Fortnite
you're good.
skin.
Understand, I've been a fan of Battle Royale. Like, I don't know why. I could see why people like them though.
I mean,
They're just not for me. Prefer. I'm a
yeah,
campaign guy.
it's
You know.
free. It's free and it's there. Yeah, no, I'm the same way.
Yeah.
I've never so I played a little bit of Fortnite, but like not enough that like I'm like competitive like playing it all the time. I would never stream it because it's like it's not my cup of tea. But I do enjoy it when I play it. You know, like it's like okay, I'm in a mood
Yeah.
for it. Like I prefer story games.
Same. Like for example, like have you heard of Delta? Like, what do you have? PlayStation, Xbox? What are you? PC?
I have PS5 and but I mostly play PC to be honest. Yeah.
Uh, yeah. So I have a PlayStation. They have Delta Force on there, which is a great game. But they also have like it's mostly online play, which I
Right.
was only playing it because it also had a campaign for I don't know if you've ever seen the movie Black Hawk Down.
Yeah,
It
yeah,
had
yeah.
that. Yeah, it had that. And like you could do a campaign where you could play the story. And so I'm like, oh, I'll play it. I mean, it's online, but it has a little bit of a campaign. So I play the story because I'm based on the movie, and I'm playing the story, and it's like really glitchy. There's like so much wrong with it. I'm like, wait a minute. The online is like it's like no different
Flawless.
from online play when I'm
Yeah.
playing Call of Duty. And then the campaign is like if you sight in, you have you it's like not you're like it's the gameplay is totally different. So I'm like, that's not how
I
that
mean,
should work.
I get it. I play some MMOs specifically for the story. Like I don't interact with anybody. I just level up on my own. You know what I mean. Like
Yeah.
that's how I am with that's how I am with Star Wars: The Old Republic. I never join guilds. I just kind of do my own thing, and then like I beat the story, and then I make a new character. You know.
Yeah, the only thing I've seen from Star Wars: The Old Republic is those amazing trailers.
Yeah. No, the gameplay doesn't play
Those
like
like
that.
yeah. I no, I imagine not. Like from the gameplay I've seen, I'm seeing like that, and I'm all that. Okay, so moving into the title of the pod, um, that is one thing that has bothered
Yeah.
me is the fact that a trailer, you see the trailer, and then the trailer looks amazing. Being the gameplay is completely different. Like this is not that's not the same. That's
No,
not
I
the
mean
same.
we see that all the time
So
in mobile games. Like mobile game ads always like they look interesting. I'm like, okay, maybe I could kill some time playing this and you get the game. It's like it doesn't play like that at all. It's always mobile games that does that too. You know, like
right, right. Like that's why I'm like I'm not terrified of it, but I've seen the Call of Duty mobile ads a lot, and I'm like that feels like it's gonna blow your phone with
so
all the
like
stuff
yeah,
that
I
it goes
played
into it.
I've played like some older games on my phone. Like I played Jade Empire on my phone, and I play like Knights of the Old Republic on my phone. It's like oh, it plays fine, but yeah, like it doesn't play like seamlessly as like when you play on PC. Like especially because like you're playing with touchpad controls, so you're just like let's see if this works.
Yeah, that doesn't seem as like at this point if you're gonna play like I feel like Call of Duty is one of those games as well as certain other games like Call of Duty, Madden should be played on consoles.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
know,
and
because I
like
feel like it's just a lot that goes. It like the mobile experience will like deepen it, like cut it like way down, cut the experience of it way down, like in half
like I feel
compared to what you could.
yeah, I feel like mobile games for sure. Like Fire Emblem on mobile would be great. Or like turn-based games. Those are the ones I want to play on my phone. Like
Right.
Baldur's Gate 2. Like
Right.
stuff like that. But yeah, I get what you mean. Like
Yeah.
action games with a touchpad is like you're not really being like I feel like when it comes to action games with like games with a lot of like where you control a character third person first person, a big element of that is the immersion aspect where you see all the graphics, all the attention to detail in the game. And for what it's worth, mobile games are very like some of the graphics in mobile games are very good, but the problem with mobile games is that everything is like filled with microtransactions. You can't play the full game unless you like pay like for gems or energy bars. But if you look at the monetization of it, like the business aspect of it, the most profitable industry in the gaming like world is mobile games because of that like
Oh yeah.
mindset.
I don't even doubt that for a second. I don't doubt that for a second.
Yeah, everybody has a
Not
phone
a
and
single
everybody
second.
kills time with their phone.
Right. Right. I don't know. Maybe I'll just long for the days of when the best mobile games online were Angry Birds and Temple Run.
Oh yeah, no, I still have my iPhone with Angry Birds. I'm like saving it until like 5, 10 years from now. Maybe I'll sell it because like it's like, hey, I have Angry Birds on my phone, like like the original Angry
Yeah.
Birds.
Yeah. Then at that point, it'll be a novelty at that point, like
Exactly.
DVDs or
Exactly.
Blockbuster.
Exactly. Yeah.
So again, beyond that, so Kid Bandit. Again, it can be as serious or as unserious as you want it to be. What bothers you? What in your life bothers you?
Okay, so that feeling when you have like a hoodie or like a pair of trousers or like jeggings, whatever, where you have the here. I'll just grab it real quick. Okay, so you see this string that goes through the hole?
Ye-
It bothers me when
Yes.
it goes inside the hole. Like that's why I tied the knot. But last it went through, and I'm like, and then you have to like dig it out. Yeah, like that bothers me.
Yeah,
Like,
that does. At that point, I was like, you know what? Here, can they fit without the string? Can they hold up without the
right?
string? And if they can, string's gone. Like every hoodie I have, most of the hoodies I have that little string into it, and I make sure the hoodie fits. Like this hoodie, for example. This hoodie had the string in it. Like it had the string in it, and I was like, okay, so, and this is I think it's this is a medium. This is a medium from from my military days, and
Thank you for your
and
service.
and it was and I made sure when I had it, I was like, oh yeah, that's got to go. It's got to go because I'm not the type. I don't like to pull on it. It's just in the way. It's swinging around. It's like no, just give me the hoodie. Just give me the basic hoodie without it. It's as simple as that. It's as simple as that. It really is. It really is. So you've been wrestling for how long now?
Technically 4 years, maybe a little bit less because I did take a year off, but not that long actually. Like like you kind of basically followed me for the entirety of my career. I started out 2021
That
and I took 2023
I
off. Yeah. Or 2023,
yeah,
2024.
I do remember that.
Yes.
I do remember that. I remember. See, what's amazing is like I remember the video. I don't think you have it pinned anymore. You had a video of you pinned with pretty much introducing yourself. Hi, I'm Kid Bandit. I'm the protagonist of pro wrestling. And like all your moveset, and then like and this is before you started your journey. And I was like, okay. And I remember seeing and going, is there anybody else moving like that? And then on top of that, I was like, because like when you said protagonist, I was like, wait a minute, are those? It clicked because I'm like, wait a minute. It's amazing because I'm watching somebody apply anime moves to combat. And you can't really, when you see it, you can't really put that into perspective. like when you're watching, like I love Naruto as much as the next guy. That's honestly my favorite of all time. Better than Dragon Ball Z, better than Bleach, better than
I
Naruto.
get it. I
Okay.
get it.
And then I remember watching and I'm thinking, some of it is like the only practical use of, I mean, most taijutsu in Naruto is practical. Like it's usable for the most part, and then but when you see it, like when I finally see it and when I saw you do it, I'm like, oh, it is extremely practical. You just have to know what you're doing.
You just gotta lock
You
in
just
and
have to
do
know what you're
it.
doing. Right.
Right.
Like, like you just have to honestly just, like you said, just lock in and do it. And then you locked in and did it. And then I was watching and I'm like, okay, this is honestly amazing. I don't want to see anything else at this point. Follow.
Thank you.
And then here we are. And so you were trained by, correct me if I'm wrong. If I say anything that's correct, feel free to correct me. You were trained at the Nightmare Factory, correct?
Yeah.
Okay, so you trained at the Nightmare Factory, and you've been trying to, and God, I hope so, one day that you get signed on AEW, which I know I've seen that is your ultimate goal. That is one of my biggest hopes for you.
Yeah. I want
So,
to get Kenny in the face.
oh,
I want to get kneed in the face and then I want to kick him in the face. Yeah. Friend, politely. I will
so
politely.
politely, politely. So when I think about how long I've been following you, which again I didn't realize it's essentially been your whole career. I honestly thought it was 2022. I didn't realize like how long I've been following you. So with that, I want to highlight two of my favorite matches. And I'm not saying this hyperbolically when I say two of my favorite matches of all time. Like I was thinking about it, like, okay, if I had a list of 100 matches, which at some point I may actually do. Like now that I have this platform, I want to literally go through 100 matches that I've watched, which it's definitely at least 100. Definitely some repeats in there, but it is at least 100. I'm genuinely curious. I don't know where I will put these matches, but one of them I want to talk about is a match you had in 2022 with Malachi Black at Prestige Perseverance.
Yes.
I watched that match honestly hours like before this interview. I rewatched it again, and I remember loving it because obviously I love Malachi is amazing. Well, he's amazing. I'm gonna say he's amazing. Mm-hmm. He's a great talent, and then to see you in there, and that had to be what less than 2. Was that less than a year?
Less than 2. Less than 2.
Less than 2 years.
A year and something.
And yeah. I didn't realize that match was going to be the main event. Like on top of that,
I mean, it kind of had to be.
So
I was I got to the venue really late. Like I was there and like the show already started. I was like, shit. We were caught in traffic. We just flew in from Canada. And I've said it before, but like I like pointing this out. 2 weeks before that match, I had a match with Paro at Effie's Big Gay Brunch, and it was like a brutal, which I survived. But when I landed back in LA, I got hit by a car. And it like hurt my rib for like the next like month. So when I was walking into that match, I had like I don't know, I think it was like a bruised rib or something. It was painful, and like so I'm coming into this match sleep deprived. It's like the biggest match of my career and we're main event and it's Malachi Black and I'm like shit. got locked in.
Oh, you locked in for sure. You locked in for sure.
I was Deku for that one. Sure.
Yeah, I noticed. I noticed that you had the all for one in your entrance.
Yeah.
Which I remember seeing that, like, oh, that's that. If this, and I remember thinking it's definitely on my list of matches. Like that's definitely one of those matches where I'm thinking, oh, this is probably who I'm rooting for is probably not going to win. But if they win, it would be like through the roof celebration.
Yeah,
because that was definitely one,
And
that was definitely one of those matches where I'm thinking.
I definitely think like
there's a chance.
There was a lot of like stuff going on about Malachi at that moment where like he was going through some personal stuff, and everybody was like wondering, is he leaving AEW? Is he about to retire, take a break, whatever? So like, that was in the back of everyone's mind. Is a Kid Bandit going to be able to beat Malachi? Like, right, is Malachi's on the way out and stuff like that? And and he basically like there was a leading up to it. He canceled several indie bookings and was taken out of some AEW shows. So like people were, even I was wondering, like, is this match gonna happen? Because like it would be cool if it did, but like if it didn't, I'll be kind of sad. But whatever, like whatever, it's cool. Like but it did happen, and I showed up, and he was there, and I'm like, oh
It
fuck,
did
oh
happen.
you're tall, and like the symbolism for like the all for one for all like stuff was because like my mentor was Cody, and I was Deku. I was doing the Deku stuff like at that point, and I always thought like, oh well, if Cody is All Might, and he had a very long feud with Malachi in AEW. I was like, well, that's all for one right there. So like, I figured the symbolism would fit and stuff like that. And I'm glad people caught the story I was trying to tell. I was like, yeah, I'm an underdog, but like,
Oh no, absolutely. I caught it immediately because if from what I've seen in My Hero Academia, I was like, oh, this is definitely, uh, for lack of a better term, David versus Goliath in the way of like, okay, there's nobody else thinks that Deku has a chance, but
but that,
everybody has a puncher's chance,
yeah,
honestly,
and Deku's still the
you know.
protagonist.
But
Yeah.
right. So it's not like at the end of the day, somehow Deku's going to survive this, which he does, and you did, for the benefit of everybody, because again, it's one of my favorites. It is one of my favorite matches. I'm not saying that to to try and fawn. I'm serious. That is one of my favorite matches. And then the other match you had this year at Epi's Big Gay Brunch 10 in Vegas, Zack Sabre Jr. That was I okay. So I have to know, um, sharing the ring with two people of that magnitude, because Zack Sabre Jr. I mean, he's an icon.
And he
He's a
just he
technical
just
wrestling. He's a technical wrestling wizard. So like, how was that?
I mean, he was already one, like probably the greatest technical wrestler of our generation. And then, like, this wasn't a Zack Sabre Jr. that was on the come up. Like, he was an underrated star. This was Zack Sabre Jr. 2 months after he lost the IWGP World Heavyweight Champion, which he ended up winning back, by the way. And then he was also the G1
Right.
Climax winner for that, like, point. So I wasn't facing a
Right.
Zack Sabre Jr. that was like still trying to prove himself. This was a Zack Sabre Jr. that was at the top of his game, and it was Mania week, so like there was a lot of like attention drawn to it. There was a lot of people like like, and I was just coming back from injury. Like I came back a month, maybe 2 months before the match, and I was just like, well, crap. Like this is a big match for someone that's just like And keep in mind, like, and I remember like hearing about this in commentary. It's like Zach has maybe 20 years of wrestling experience. I had 3.
Yeah, that is. I think that's the most amazing thing that about you is the fact that you've only been wrestling. You're not even in your 5th year
No,
of wrestling,
no, I'm
and
not.
already you shared the ring with great names. You've been featured in AEW. You have, on top of that, you've had you've had many viral moments. Like, to me, one of the most viral things I remember seeing is you with Drexel.
Oh, is it the chair?
And the kendo stick. Like, I remember seeing that clip. I watched the match. The match was amazing, but I remember seeing that clip circulate outside of you. Like, I remember some other page tweeted something like is this what pro wrestling is about or whatever? And then it's you doing your thing with the kendo sticks, and then Drexel just hitting you with the chair. And I'm like, and I remember seeing that, like, wow, like I didn't think like the reach like that you have at this stage is amazing to me. Is amazing to see, and I'm all like all for it, because I'm curious to see where it goes next, because I'm amazed. I find it interesting that like I've always man, I'm sorry. Excuse me, I'm saying because I'm just like I said, the fact that I'm even able to do this right now is great. Um,
I'm just a gal.
but I thought it was interesting.
I'm just an anime gal. Like I'm.
I thought it was yeah, I thought it was interesting that like with that uh gimmick, the gimmick of the protagonist in anime, I'm thinking that's a little like I was like I remember seeing it. That's a little that's very like that's like a neat it's a niche kind of thing in a way, you know what I mean? Like you're
Yeah.
saying like, oh, not everybody's gonna get it, but somehow like because not everybody's into anime, you know. And so the fact that you have that and have taken it to where you have, like, how do you feel that it has reached this point where you're at, where you're able to go to Japan to all these great places? Did you? Well, I guess the question I'm asking: did you see when you started this? Did you see you getting gear? How long did you think it would take before you got to this point?
Okay, so honestly, my ultimate goal was just to debut. Like I just wanted to be able to say, hey, I put in the time for training. I wanted to train. I wanted to get in the ring. I wanted to learn wrestling moves, and I just wanted to do it, just to say that I did something that I've always wanted to do. It kind of snowballed really far out of my hands. Like from the get go, like I was like getting booked in tons of places, like being flown out, like pretty early on in my career, and as someone that yeah, I grew up like a dork. I played video games and watched anime, which you could see in the way I wrestle, right? I watch a lot of wrestling too, by the way. So like
Hmm.
when everything clicked and I realized like, oh, okay, so there's something here. There's lightning in a bottle, and I need to ride this wave as long as I could possibly hold on to. It wasn't just a happy go lucky approach. It was also a lot of like, okay, I gotta like learn how to study the algorithms for social media. I gotta learn what it's like to be managing like my business aspects, the logistics and all that stuff. So a lot of work went behind the scenes to maintain that momentum, because like it doesn't happen for everybody, and when it does happen, like you gotta lock in. You gotta be like, okay, like I don't know how far this will take me, but like it will take me somewhere if I just if I navigate the waters, like I with as much gutso and as much skill as possible. And that meant like being that new, both as a influencer and as a wrestler. I had to like basically kind of learn how to approach it in a way that is sustainable in terms of like my body, like I don't get burnt out, but at the same time I also had to like prove like, hey, this is why I'm being flown out to these places. This is why, like, check out my shit, check out my wrestling. And something that I learned from the Nightmare Factory from Coach Glacier was not a lot of people care too much about like the hard work that goes behind the scenes. Like they appreciate the end result, but the hard work, like the networking, the gym sessions, like, oh my gosh, I go to the gym so much, and it's like I don't like the gym. Like, you know what I mean, but I have to. It's part of my responsibilities, as an athlete. So you know, people won't appreciate the work that you're going to be putting in at first. So it's up to you to really like, make them care with your end product. And it was a lot of trial by fire, in the sense of like I'm learning things as I'm thrown into deep waters. I'm learning how to swim, and I've drowned a lot. Like I've made a lot of mistakes, which I feel like I will be paying for, like like for a long time. And they're not like bad mistakes, they're just like rookie mistakes, like bad first impressions, bad matches, stuff like that. And then that's it, like, and when when you're first starting out, you could always like kind of like hide behind like the oh, I'm new and I'm green, like defense. But you never want to really. You always want to prove that, like, no, I'm like the first word of what we do is professional. It's professional wrestler, and as a professional, it's your job to like because it is a job, right? It's a business, but like it is your responsibility to like make sure that the people that you meet are like enthused by your work. You want to make sure that the audience that is paying their hard like American or like whatever nationality currency they're spending their free time, they're choosing to spend like their weekend sitting on a venue watching people perform, and it's my responsibility as a performer to like make sure they get their money's worth, they get a good experience out of it and stuff like that. There's so many reasons why people get into wrestling. For me, literally, I just wanted to follow my dream, I just wanted to debut. But when it went past that, like I had to like basically like look at it as like, okay, so now I have a following. I have fans. I have fans that um look at me like far beyond like the confines of what I do in the ring. They look at my journey outside of the ring. They look at like the struggles that I'm overcoming. They look at and all of this ties into the protagonist's like gimmick, because like ultimately I feel like one of the reasons why the gimmick works is because I'm not afraid to show the points in my career where I stumble. I'm not afraid to show that like this is where I'm from, this is where I'm at now, this is what I've overcome, and here I am now. Like the best, in my opinion, the best characters, the best protagonists in video games, movies, and animes are the ones that aren't perfect. They're the ones that you could relate to. There's a reason why Spider-Man is so much more infinitely popular than Batman and Superman. Like, yes, sure, some people prefer Superman, some people prefer Batman, but ultimately I feel like Spider-Man has a broader appeal, specifically because like Peter Parker is a poor kid who is a nerd, struggles to talk with girls. Like there's so many issues about Peter Parker that a lot of us can relate to, because these are struggles that you and I will face some point in our lives. Whereas you look at someone like Batman, he's like, oh, he's born a billionaire, he lost his parents to crime, but other than that, like, why do we like Batman? Because he's cool and he's dark and gothy, and he doesn't have powers, sure. And I guess like having no powers in a world filled with superpowers is relatable in some way. But Spider-Man, in my opinion, is like someone I kind of like base a lot of like my journey on, or rather like the Kid Bandit character from. Specifically because like I like the idea that instead of presenting myself like a superstar, like a lot of wrestlers do, which good for them, because what we do is larger than life. But for me, I want to show that I can do that larger than life stuff, but also be like a normal human being like everybody else, and like that, I feel like that down to earth approach has also helped me, like resonate with a lot of people, and that helped me grow my following.
Yeah, I was gonna say for sure, as far as people I can relate to, like one of the things, like as you're going through the list of heroes, I was thinking, like I think that's why I enjoy uh, Daredevil so much. Like I enjoy Daredevil and the Punisher so much, is because they are those normal people. Now, granted, I don't have a law degree, but I don't have a law degree. I've never been to combat, but I did serve in the military, so I know like the way that it can. Uh, like and then they're both struggling with the whole identity crisis of like, I've been through a lot, how do I deal with certain things, how do I grieve properly, how do I deal with all these anxieties and all these responsibilities that I have, you know so that's kind of like how I relate to them. And then I guess with you, like I relate to you in the way of like, like it's the realization, I think it's definitely the realization that we're not perfect, you know that. And I think that it is that understanding that like you don't have, like, you're not the biggest, you're not the strongest, but you definitely go out there and like, you know you go to the end. I think that's, again, going back, that's why I love that match with Malachi Black so much, because you're not necessarily, you're like you said, he's taller, he's got way more in-ring
He
experience in the
kicks
business
harder.
and all that.
He kicks
But
so
it's
much harder.
right, like, right, like, but then it's like, it's on top of that, watching that and then saying, like, for the fact that you were able to, like, for like a couple times in there where you're thinking, could it could it happen?
Yeah.
Can Kid Bandit pull off the upset? And is what I think makes life so interesting. And what I think makes pro wrestling so amazing. Like, for example, like on top of that, one of my other favorite matches to watch is like gives that idea is like, is it possible? Is when Kota Ibushi fought Hiroshi Tanahashi in the G1 final.
Yeah.
Like honestly, that match makes me cry because I thought for sure Kota Ibushi was going to beat Tanahashi, and then he didn't. I was like, because he had just gone back with Kenny, and all this other great stuff. Kenny had won the World Championship. Like, oh, well, Kenny won that now. Kota's obviously due. Then when he didn't, he had his moment to be due, and he wasn't. I was like, well, where do we go from here?
Yeah, well, I think that is the beauty of professional wrestling. It evokes so much emotions out of people, and like, there's element, like, one of the reasons why I consider it a performance art, and it's a really high form of performance art, is like you look at it and it can make you cry, it can make you laugh, it can make you angry. It makes me angry all the time, but it can also like bring euphoria. And the best part is you watch a full show and you will experience all those sorts of emotions. Like, like a good quote that I like to like pull from is Brian Danielson. He said, like, if you show excellent if you show excellent professional wrestling to anybody, they will like it, because excellent professional wrestling is fucking awesome. And it's like, yeah, it's true. Like, I could show anybody Kenny versus Okada Dominion, and I'm pretty fucking sure they're gonna look at it and be like, yo, this is sick. What the hell? Like,
okay, side note, the first one or the second time?
both. Why not both? Like, they're both great. Like, that's the thing, is like
it's fair.
The entire trilogy was
valid.
amazing.
That's valid.
Yeah. Even the first one
valid.
was like, like the first one was like, psh, and for them to consistently like top it, like, it's like, the second one though had like, it was the conclusive one. I feel like you have to show the entire trilogy to like really appreciate it.
That first one at Wrestle Kingdom 11 is how I even got into New Japan. I had no idea New Japan existed. I didn't know Kenny. I didn't know who Kenny was. I didn't know who Okada was. I remember I found the match because I was on Facebook at the time. I'm not on there anymore because it's gotten a little toxic.
It is very toxic.
I got off of there, but I'm only staying on Twitter. So I'm only staying on Twitter because Twitter is hilarious. Like, I've seen some really hilarious stuff on Twitter. I can't get rid of it. But I came across Okada Omega, the first one at Wrestle Kingdom, because somebody on Facebook said, yeah, this is the best match ever. And it wasn't Dave Meltzer. It was like somebody else had tweeted, yeah, this is probably the best match I've ever seen. And I'm like, really? It's like, wait, better than Shawn and Taker at WrestleMania 25? Better than that? So I watched it, and I'm like, so I found it on, somebody had posted the full match on YouTube, the full Wrestle Kingdom match on YouTube. I watched it, and I'm like,
I get it.
Oh, wait. I was like, oh, no, yeah. I was like, I get it. Because, like, wait a minute. Did he say 45 minutes? Did he kick out from that? Oh, he just ran his full body. He just shoved his knee into the side of his face while running full speed. And he kicked out of that.
Yep.
He kicked out of a tombstone. Nobody kicks out of a tombstone. What is going on here? The people are on their feet. There are people, and then it's over. There are people crying in the crowd. Like, what am I?
And to get that emotion out of the Japanese, and the Japanese audience, like, the way they approach wrestling is like, they're very like focused. Like,
it's the best.
Yeah, so like to get them emotional like that.
I watched Japanese crowds, European crowds, U.S. crowds. That's from a fan perspective. That's just my opinion.
So I like American audiences because I like Deadpool a lot. Like, Deadpool is like one of my favorite characters, and I say a lot of jokes. Like, I'm very quippy. I'm like a Marvel movie, like, just like one-liners every 5 seconds. I'm just like, yeah, no, like, especially because like,
yeah, I noticed that in your match with ZSJ, you were like. Like he would hit you, and you would like, it would get dead silent. Then I just hear, ow. I was like, perfect.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Like, I remember at one point I made him laugh, like, because I was watching the footage, and he kicked my arm, and I just said, "Why? Oh God, why? Owie!" And I just saw him like chuckle. I was like, "Hey, I got him." And hey, it's a
No.
tactic. You throw your opponent off, like they're out here trying to kick your ass, and you make
Yeah.
them laugh, and they're just like, oh, and then I kicked them in the head, like maybe like 5 seconds after that, right? Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that
Yeah.
there's a method to my madness. Anyway, like so American audiences, I get to like jaw jack. And if you're quick on your feet, they'll really appreciate like how fast you are. And something I like to do is like I approach some matches like a stand-up comedy routine where I set up a joke and I pay it off later.
Mhm.
And it's funny because like hey, how many people get to like approach wrestling in like in that kind of mindset and make it work on top of the anime stuff, on top of the video game stuff, on top of like just like the martial arts stuff that I do. So it's like so like you're basically a stand-up comedian, stunt performer, martial artist, streamer, like social media influencer on top of everything else that you're doing to like get yourself like you're traveling, you're touring and all that stuff. So like there's a lot of hard work being put into it, and you have to be very consistent in order for it to like translate um into your craft. European audiences, like they're very raucous, they're very rowdy, but also like they appreciate your craft a lot. So like I don't jaw jack as often, but when I do, it's like they start singing, and I'm just like, let's go. Japanese audience, because I don't speak really fluent Japanese. Like a lot of like the comedy stuff I do is very slapstick, very Jackie Chan oriented. It was like it's body comedy. It's a physical comedy. So like, and it still works. So like the beauty of professional wrestling is that it is a universal language. You don't need to speak the same dialect for you to understand what is going on, and I think that's a beautiful part of like what we do.
Um, what match got you in? What matches got you into professional wrestling?
So I have two answers for that. One is a match that got me into like watching professional wrestling, and then the other would be what got me wanting to become a
Into
professional
doing,
wrestler.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
Yeah, to
yeah.
doing it. So the match that made me want to do it is Nakamura versus Sami Zayn, NXT Takeover
Take
Dallas.
over, take over,
Yeah, take
take
the
over Dallas.
takeover.
Yeah, that's
It
a
was Shinsuke's debut, and I remember like I was watching the pay per view live. After that match, I didn't skip the pay per view. I still finished it, but I remember just grabbing the watch, like the long watch. I don't know what you call it, but it's like where it's like shows like how far the video is going along. I clicked it and it rewinded it to the beginning of the match from the entrances, because I was just like blown away with how good the match was, and I'm like, oh, this is, I want to do this. Like, what the hell, like And the match that got me into watching wrestling, oh my god, it's been a while. But I remember it was I believe it was RVD versus Jeff Hardy ladder match where they were unifying the titles. And I just saw it on YouTube. Like, and this was around the time YouTube
I
wasn't
never watched
letting
one of those.
you like
Post full
yeah, they
matches,
weren't
yeah.
like they weren't letting WWE clips on YouTube at the time. Like, I believe like WWE wasn't.
Oh, so let me guess, you watched it in parts.
Yeah, part one, part two, part three, and like they had to change the names a little bit. Like,
Yeah,
like, oh,
yeah,
you
yeah,
can't
yeah.
watch Brock Lesnar, but you can watch Bork Lasser. And everything. I remember those days.
Yeah. Do you have a so of all the people you face plenty of people. I know Kenny Omega is definitely at the top of your list of people you said you want to face. You cleared that earlier. Is there anybody? Is there anywhere you haven't wrestled, and is there anywhere you haven't wrestled that you would like to yet?
I want to wrestle. Oh my god, I want to wrestle Speedball.
That would be
Right? Yeah,
that would be
and,
awesome.
and
That would be awesome. Which so I don't mean to cut you off, but no, carry on because I actually have a question about that relates to speedball.
Yeah, okay,
But
so
carry on. What were
when
you
I
gonna say?
first started out, I knew about speedball. I watched PWG and I kept up, but like speedball at the time wasn't wrestling predominantly in the States. So, and I may have
Right.
stolen a couple of moves from speedball in the first couple of years because I was just like not as original as I like to be. So like coming back from injury, one of my main goals was like, okay, I want to wrestle barefoot and with kick pads on, but I don't want to wrestle like speedball. But I still want to kick. I still want to do my own thing, but I'm gonna fine tune my style so people will see similarities, but it's not the same anymore. I'm definitely I definitely avoid doing stuff that I know speedball does because like I didn't want the comparisons to be so blatant. I wanted it to be like, oh yeah, like I want people to think, oh, that would be a sick match because they both have similar styles. But I didn't want to come off as like a knockoff anymore. I wanted to be my own thing. So like, back then when I used to run a company and I used to book speedball as much as I can, I would fight the urge to book myself against speedball because at the time I'm like, no, not yet, not yet, not yet. But now I'm ready. But now I can't book him, or them, sorry. So like, heck, you know.
Yeah. Yeah. I was gonna. That's why I was gonna ask because I noticed that from you've changed your gear up time. So I'm wondering what made your decision to want to wrestle how you are now, wrestle barefoot with just kick pads on and in the style. What was the I figured because I remember when you were coming back from injury, you said there was going to be something different. So I'm wondering where the what the change what went into that
I
decision.
hurt my knee a bunch of times because of like the way I move. Like a lot of like the stuff, like Rock Lee hurt his knee. I'm just saying, like they're,
He did.
like
He
he,
did. Well, he to be fair, he also had a crush by Sand.
he
So
did, he did, he did, he did. But yeah, like even Bruce Lee got injured, and Bruce Lee had to change the way and as far as I can see, like there's like Stone Cold had to change the way he wrestles. I'm trying to think. Like so many. Like even Kenny. Like Kenny used to
yeah,
do
yeah.
different stuff early on, and like now.
AJ had to change.
Yeah,
AJ Styles
AJ
had to
Styles.
change.
Well, I mean, admittedly, AJ Styles still does like crazy shit. You know what I mean? But like, not
Yeah. Well, yeah. No, absolutely. But I'm saying, even so, like he's not
not
2005 TNA AJ Styles is certainly not the
not the
same
same at all. But
2025 AJ
but
Styles.
to the
So
point, like
you know,
even if they've had to like fine tune the way they moved, like the essence of who they were was still present in the sense like you
right.
see Kenny, like you still believe like every time he runs and hits that knee, it's still gonna like explode someone's head off. You watch Stone Cold and like the way like he may have lost a lot of like the technical prowess that he was known for before he transitioned into like the Stone Cold gimmick, but like you could still see the intensity that he brought in um as the ringmaster character in his ring work to like the new brawler
Right.
style that he was incorporating into the new gimmick, which fit a lot better than like uh
Oh, way
yeah.
better.
So
Way.
in my opinion, I was like, okay, well now that I have to like adapt to the injuries, adapt to like the wear and tear, because like uh even though I've only been doing it for like less than 5 years, the amount of travel, the amount of matches, I used to do 4 matches a week, like back to back to back, like so like, and I was like, it wasn't like in one city, it was like 4 different cities, like like I was like being ping ponged around the country and the world actually. So like, it was a lot, and it took its toll on me. And but I did eventually get to a point where I'm like, okay, I'm fine. I'm figuring it out. Like, and if I have to adapt in order to like incorporate some newer stuff, I will. And here's how I became barefoot. um, at first, it was an accident. Um, on my way back to preparing for my in ring comeback, I went to train as in wrestling, and I left one of my shoes. I left one of my shoes at home, and I'm like, well, crap. You know what? I've always wanted to try wrestling barefoot. Let's do that today. And I realized every kick I did was way easier because I like now I don't have the grip on my feet that like inhibits pivoting. I could slide, which is nice, you know. And when I train martial arts, like when I train kung fu, taekwondo, MMA, Muay Thai, I'm barefoot, you know, so I'm like, so everything I do in the ring barefoot is literally what I do when I train my kicks. And it just helps. And I thought like, is that why Janai and Speedball do it? Is that why Miu wears like her like she has like these cool like ninja shoes that were like you know what
Yeah,
I mean? So it's like, okay, so
yeah,
that might be it. That might be what that might be the change that I needed to adapt. So I went from like a very aerial focused wrestler into more of a strike based wrestler. One, because it's easier on my body. Like I'm not coming home crying anymore because I'm like in so much pain. Now it's like, oh great, like you know, I feel good. I just need to stretch a little bit and I'll be good for my next match. And that is something that you know you learn the longer you do it. Is like how do you create a move set, a wrestling style, an approach to your craft that is sustainable, which you know everybody says this a lot about wrestling, but it is a marathon, not just physically but it's emotionally and mentally as well. It's like you know like the you can go only as far as you allow yourself to. And if you're not taking care of like the needs, like if you're not preparing for like you can't just run a marathon when you wake up one day and be like, oh, I'm gonna do it, and then you're gonna do it the next day. It's like no, you have to like you have to train for it, you have to prepare for it. So you know that became part of my preparation. It's like, well, if I'm training all my kicks barefoot anyway, might as well wrestle barefoot, and it helps. It does get in the way of certain things, like it does limit some of my, you know, I don't want to do death matches barefoot. Like, I'm gonna wear shoes, or maybe I won't. Like maybe I'll be
that's
Necro Butcher at on that bitch. Who knows? I'm kind of crazy. Anyway,
yeah.
but yeah. So like that is one the main reasoning behind like the change.
Okay, that's good. That is good. Well, again, I've this has been a privilege. This has been a an absolute privilege. Like I said, I had no idea. I had technically been following your entire career because like I said, it felt like that match with Malachi Black. I thought for some reason that match with Malachi Black was 2 years ago. It wasn't. It was
Yeah.
2022. So I'm like, oh, it's been way long. It's been 3 years. I didn't realize it had been 3 years. Um, One more thing I want to ask: is Brian Danielson the best of all time? I know it's an opinionated question, but
No,
still.
I agree. Like, no, I mean, not just as a fan, but as a wrestler, like, you have to really like
Actually, I have a couple
yeah,
of
yeah,
things.
yeah. Like in the very same vein that you know, as a wrestler, you have to be familiar with Zack Sabre Jr.'s work because, like, hey, dude, that guy's like the best technical wrestler in the world. But then, like, you know, but then you also want to look at Brian Danielson as someone that has successfully incorporated the Japanese style of wrestling into American aesthetic
Correct.
without compromising what makes it good. You know, the fighting spirit, the intensity, the strikes, the emotions that like you know and I think that's what made him resonate with so many people, not only the underdog story of the yes movement, but like we've seen him also in AEW where
Before
yeah, where
that,
he wasn't even an underdog in AEW.
I was say Ring
Yeah,
of
Ring of
Honor.
Honor, exactly. Like even in Ring of Honor, like you know, you look at Brian Danielson, you don't see a small dude doing like moves for the sake of doing moves. You see a guy who happens to have that stature, like find a way to fight, like so, like in a unique, in like in a unique individualistic way that's only like present when he does it and you believe it. You know, I think so QT Marshall, one of my coaches in the Anime Factory, used him a lot as an example for specifically for me because I was short. Like he would say, like, oh, Brian Danielson, like, you know, he's small, but when you watch him, he looks like he's fighting with every ounce of his being every time he strikes, every time he does a move, you could see him like just digging deep and stuff like that. And like when you as a performer are able to evoke that kind of like presence, that emotion into your craft, the crowd will get it. Because like I think we could all attest that there are some wrestlers when you watch them, they kind of like they just go through moves like like it's like it's a routine, which like it works. Like some people like that stuff, but some wrestlers, they go through their moves like they have purpose. And I believe that nobody encapsulates having purpose with your moves quite like Brian Danielson, especially because like if you watch his interviews, if you listen to like him describe the way that he goes about like wrestling, he would sometimes say like, oh, I'm not a good wrestler. I just do the fundamentals great. And it's like, well, the fundamentals are the essence. They're the core of professional wrestling, right? Like without the fundamentals, nobody's nothing,
Right.
So like, so if you do the
Right.
fundamentals well, then, and the, like, as a student of the game, as a wrestler, like, obviously Brian Danielson is not just a basic wrestler. Like he does a lot of cool shit, but seeing someone, get so far in his career by focusing on fundamentals, by focusing on having sticking with his aesthetic, sticking with like the style that he's cultivated through multiple years, you know, that's one, that's inspirational, but two, that's also like great for you to like um mirror. Like it's a good path to it's a good trajectory to mirror, because like it works. And it's not just him that it works for, it works for so many people. It's just nobody, I think nobody was able to like really encapsulate that kind of like approach quite as good as Brian Danielson. So yeah, like, do I believe he's greatest of all time? Sure, but like at the same time, Cody, Cody, Cody Rhodes. So yeah.
I feel that. I feel that. I feel that. So, last question before I get you out of here. What is the best event you've attended, and the best event you've been a part of? Because I attended All in Texas this year, and I got to tell you, let me tell you something. That All in Texas was something else.
Yeah.
That was something else. Like I would not. I was like, okay, this is a high bar at this point. It set a very high bar for attendance.
So
So we're
super biased, but like the best event I've ever attended and performed at, actually, and also helped put together is like an event that happened this month or last month. It was an event called T4T, T-Boy Wrestling, and it was in Los Angeles. And I ended up, and it's not the
uh,
same as professional wrestling. Like there's elements of it, but it's not completely a professional wrestling show.
I saw that on your Instagram. Wondering
Oh my
where I
god.
could watch that because I was genuinely curious because I saw you were part of it. I was like, what like what is going on here? I saw you were part of it, and I'm like, okay, well, if Kidd Bandit's a part of it, it's got to be great.
Well, it started off like, just shoot wrestling, and then they added elements of like dance and routine, and eventually like, they brought me in to coach, and I'm like, well, let me bring in some indie wrestling, some pro wrestling in here, and some lucha libre and stuff like that. So the best part was like it was 2 8-hour shows back to back. It was like WrestleMania, and the crowd never died. It had like 1,000 people in it. There was an after party. I got laid, so that was fun. And the next day, I tell like the owners, I was like, "Hey, can I wrestle?" And they were like, "Sure, absolutely." I was like, "Let me hit up my friend." So I hit up my friend Richie Coy. I was like, "You want to wrestle?" And they were like, "Yeah, sure." And we did. And like most of the performances there are like between 5 to 7 minutes tops. So I think we had like a 20-minute match, and it was like, and like at first I was thinking like we don't have to do much. Like they haven't seen like the stuff that we're gonna do, so like we can just kind of take it easy. But then we get to the venue and we saw the crowd, and I was like, I call up
Yeah,
Richie while I'm like, 'cause
let's ramp it up a bit.
Yeah, because I was a judge. I was judging the performances. I was judging the wrestling and stuff like that. So, but I was also like, you know, a coach. So I helped train many of the performers in this. So I was like, one, I was proud, like, you know, with how far they've been able to come, how everybody killed it. I was proud no one got hurt. That was like the one thing I was thinking, like, hey, if everybody comes home happy and nobody gets injured, great. I did my job, you know. So but the second part of it was like we went out there and we just like decided we're gonna go fucking PWG up in this bitch. We're gonna fucking just blow their fucking minds, and we did. And I was like, hell yeah! And I just kept thinking about what Brian Danielson says. Like, if you show excellent professional wrestling in front of anybody, even if they're not professional, because like most of them probably don't watch professional wrestling, you know, like the audience. But we went out there and we said we're gonna do what we do. We're gonna do what we do because what we do is fucking cool. And it doesn't matter if you don't like wrestling or not. It doesn't matter if you don't get it. You're gonna fucking love this shit because we're gonna pour our heart and soul into this. And you're gonna feel us put our heart and soul into this. And that is the essence of professional wrestling in my like, especially watching it live. You could feel that, you know. So and I felt that day. But to segue into a different like a less biased answer. Um I can't remember the number, but WrestleMania, the one where Cody lost to Roman.
39.
Uh,
That was 39.
39, yeah, the one where
I
I put,
remember, I remember watching
yeah,
that one too. I remember watching that
yeah,
one too. We watched it, and I was at my buddy's house, and we're all thinking, so
bullshit.
something else is well that, and something else is going to happen afterward, right? But the other thing about that was like I was more amazed as okay, so he doesn't win here, fine, dumb, but fine, made this work. But then I'm thinking, okay, next year, the fact that you top it next year was with
Exactly.
with you, both night main event, both of the main events that night were like okay, like you know, Rock and Roman versus Cody and Seth that on one night, and then Cody and Roman the second night. I was like, well, that's I mean, that's hard to beat, you know.
Yeah,
But then I mean, obviously they didn't even match it. I mean, this is coming from a bias. I want to say bias. It's just I'm kind of grown out of it at this point. WWE. I mean,
me
no
too.
offense.
Low
There are
key.
people I still like over there, but I'm just like I said. I went to All in Texas. I went to All in Texas, and my life changed. My life. I looked at myself in the mirror. It's like, what are you doing? Why are you still? Why
Yeah,
are you still? You know this is better. You know this is better. Like you know this is more what you're into. Be honest with yourself.
I mean,
You know, just
outside of
be
the
honest with
political
yourself.
stuff, yeah, yeah, outside of the political stuff WWE is kind of involved in right now, I'm like, you know, like I love it. I just I don't like how involved we are with the current administration, brother.
Yeah,
That's
I don't either. Like, well, it's even beyond that. I was like, because when I talk to people about it, I say, you know what? Forget the political stuff. Forget forget the main thing that gets me is like, look, if you're gonna charge me this much to go to a show for your
yeah.
shows, which I get it, they're your big shows. I totally get it. I understand they're your big shows. I get it. The product better be good. Like, I just want it to be good. Like, that's it. Which I don't think I don't think that's a crazy thing to ask for. I don't think that's an insane thing to ask for. Like I said, I went to all like, and I keep bringing this up because of how amazing it was. Like, I paid 164 for All In, and I got a great seat. And I was like, and I left there with my voice gone. Like, I left there with my voice gone. Like I met there like high fiving people. I left there. I almost cried. I remember like it's so funny. I lost my voice. Okay, so I lost my voice at Swerve and Osprey versus the Bucks.
Mm.
And when Hangman fought Mox in the main event, I'm like, there's
Uh
it got worse. You know, like how I was even able to speak after that night is beyond me, you know. But I'm like,
right.
see, that's what I want to feel, especially if you're asking me to go live to a show. I better be losing my voice. I better be like dancing in the aisle because of results, you know. I better be doing like that's what I'm waiting for, but that's not what I'm getting. It's not what I'm
I
getting, you
mean,
know. I will say,
maybe
however,
eventually.
Maybe, hopefully. But I will say this: I am whatever Rhea Ripley, Io Sky, and that whole thing, and Asuka and Kairi Sane are into. Hey, that's good enough for me.
I
I'm be
mean,
honest.
in
I'm just gonna be
my
honest.
humble opinion, yeah, the Bianca Belair, Io Sky, Rhea Ripley WrestleMania opener was the best WrestleMania match I've ever seen. So like, there's a lot of good stuff there still. You know what I mean? It's just
Yeah,
fuck, lock in, like
yeah,
get everyone on
yeah,
that
just
level. You know?
yeah. That's it. That's it. And speaking of WrestleMania 39, Rhea Ripley and Charlotte, love that. Love
Yeah,
that.
yeah, yeah. That was a good one too.
Love
Yeah.
that. That's honestly my favorite Charlotte match. And I saw Charlotte wrestle Sasha Banks live. That is my favorite, but that is my favorite Charlotte match. But yeah, um, well, like I said, I am grateful, very grateful, like extremely grateful. The hair looks great, by the way. I don't know, I didn't know,
Thank
I
you.
don't know if I said anything, but the hair looks amazing.
I've been
I,
like stressing because like I just bleached it. I'm like, please don't fall off.
no, it looks great. It
Thank
looks
you.
absolutely amazing. I'm very grateful that you took time to do this.
Of course.
I hope
Thank you for having me.
I hope that yeah, no problem. I hope that your journey again, I'm amazed that I know I said this like 3 times already. I'm amazed that it hasn't been 5 years and you're at this level.
I tried.
And as somebody who's again, I didn't realize I'd followed you for this long. As somebody who's been following you for essentially that whole time to see the elevation, you know, keep going. I just know that Everest is somewhere up there. Peak
Thank
is
you.
somewhere up there. So, I plan on being here when you reach the peak. You know,
Thanks.
you have my word for that. Um, I hope to see. But big favor, can you send? Is there a link for that T Boy show, for that T Wrestling show? Because I
No,
saw it on your. It's
they said they'll put it up on YouTube. So once I get it, I'll definitely share it.
all right. Great, 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 great. So, well, beyond that, again, thanks for coming. Um, good luck in the rest of your journey. Not just
Thank
wrestling.
you.
I mean, life. Because I know there's a lot of in the world we're living in. We need people like you.
Thank
The
you.
world needs people like you.
Thank you so
The world
much.
needs people like Kid Bandit. Also, great name, wrestling name, best wrestling name. I was thinking about this. I think that's the other beyond your wrestling style. I saw the name Kid Bandit. I was like, sold. I don't care the name. The name alone. I was like, that's it. That's a great name. Like to
Yeah.
me, no, for real. Like that's better than that's. I thought about because I tried to think of are there any other better wrestling, just like better wrestling names than that, and I couldn't think of one. And they're like, and like because you have Kenny Omega, like that's a great name, but it's not Kid Bandit. Like just name wise, not wrestling star wise, just name wise. I'm like Kenny Omega is a great name, but like there's just something like it's like when it's like you know how when you eat airheads and just like and like you get to the mystery flavor and it's like you're not sure what it is but you know it tastes good. It's like that. Like you know what
Ah, I
you're
love
not
that.
sure what
Thank
it is. You're
you.
not yeah, exactly. Like you're not sure why it tastes good. You know it's a mystery flavor because it's a mystery flavor because like you have no idea what's going into it, but you tried it and you're like, you know what? I don't know what it is about this. I can't pick the flavor of it. I'm not sure what it is, but I know it tastes good, and I know I would definitely try it again. That's how
Hell yeah,
that's
I love
that's
that.
how I feel about Kid Bandit.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
that's how I feel about Kid Bandit. And then yeah, so anyway, like I said, good luck on the rest of your wrestling journey. I'll
Thanks.
be I'll be looking out for you. My goal now is to find one of your wrestling shows. Can you tell people where they can find you?
I'll
If
be in
social
Japan for
media.
the next month. So
That yeah.
if you're in Japan, I will be there. I'll also be wrestling in the Philippines October 19th. So be there or be square. And my social media is all Kid Bandit Pro except for TikTok, which is just Kid Bandit because I deleted my first one because I had enough. I fucking hate TikTok. I'm sorry. But
Uh,
no, but I brought it back because I didn't want anybody like stealing my name. So anyway, yeah, that's it.
when are you coming back to the States?
November.
But all right. But
Yeah,
if
yeah.
anything, I'll plan to see you WrestleMania weekend. WrestleMania week.
Yes, Vegas next year. Yes, I'll hopefully
Yes,
be there because I
yes.
live like 5 hours away. Yes.
Awesome. Awesome. That's a goal of mine. To see that is the next goal. See you at a meet and greet, and then we'll hopefully revisit this conversation.
Awesome. Thank you. And I hope you have a
So
wonderful
again,
day.
yeah. All right. So again, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining us. This has been a Bother Man podcast. Shout out to Kidd Bandit for their presence. Forever grateful. You have a nice day.
You as well. Thank you. Goodbye.
Bye.